been listening to a
and
lot of
welcome
K-pop
to
too.
Superhero-
I know you like K-pop, but I'm
What are you doing?
like,
Well, we're having an interesting discussion here.
we were trying, and Dave keeps like derailing this because we're having fun.
I'm trying to
Gotta start the podcast.
I'm
and
trying to
also-
do the show.
Why don't we talk about K-pop? I mean, like, that's okay. I'm not a huge K-pop fan, but I can at least respect the genre.
Yeah, and they've got as many listeners as like was it
Anything?
Taylor Swift?
It's popular. It's very
Can't
popular.
wait for her to win the Super Bowl. All right, everyone, welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And
JD, and I'm wondering why people are so worked up over Taylor Swift supporting her boyfriend.
I have
like,
no
I
idea.
don't,
It's
I don't
ridiculous.
understand.
we know
It
we
is.
know the kind of people that are worked up
they're-
about it, and they're
we
not
know-
worth listening to.
But we know that. We know it's those people, but there's a lot of like normal people too that are all like immensely bothered that they have to look at a pretty blonde occasionally while watching football. And I just it boggles my mind. I'm like, why do you care that a bunch it's like okay, so we talk like the theme of the show today, the fanboy thing, right? Is there anyone that's more gatekeepy than like football nerds?
Tell me what somebody
That's a
did
good question.
somebody did a study. There's like for a regular football game, there is, and a football game can go what 2 hours or something. There
two and
is
a half.
literally only 11 to 14 minutes of actual football,
Mm-hmm.
and the time that they showed Taylor Swift during these games has been like at most 45 seconds, and yet it's a problem somehow.
Well, the thing I don't get is this is not the first athlete to date a celebrity.
I know, right?
And the celebrity shows up at the games, but she's the most popular pop star right now.
In the
And I
world
think-
right now.
yeah,
Like,
and
Yeah,
she's-
but they didn't have a problem with it when what's her name Spice was married to the football deflator guy. Well,
What?
the was it one of the Spice Girls was married to one of the greatest quarterbacks, but he
No, Beckham.
You're so you have so, John. You do not watch sports.
no, I don't. But
No,
One
it's
of the-
very
famous
obvious right now.
One of the Spice Girls is married to a very famous soccer player.
Soccer player.
oh,
David
okay. I
David
thought
Beckham, yeah.
well, but Victoria Beckham was like
Beckham. Yeah, yeah. And you're confusing her with Giselle Bundchen, who was married to Tom Brady.
Oh, there was that too. Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Brady, who was yeah. So let's.
They didn't have a problem with that either. I mean,
Yeah, because she's not as famous as Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Like she's
you-
hot, but she is not a billionaire.
well,
A billionaire woman on top of that. So that
But we
really-
know,
I think-
we know the real problem. The real problem is Taylor Swift is getting people to sign up to vote.
No, I get that. No, I'm not going to argue that. That is a real thing, and that's that side. Like that whole. There's a definitely a large contingent of like right.
That's most of it.
Conspiracy. No, it's beyond that. Though.
No.
There's a lot of like actual like football people that are very like, and I'm not talking any politics here, but there's a lot of actual football people that are like I said, it's being super gatekeepy.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me. Again,
No, it
because
does.
like
It totally does. Because think about how often we see this in nerd culture.
Right.
Right? We see we talk about this at least 3 or 4 times a year. How fans of the kind of stuff we're into have a real hard time letting other people in. Right? And
Right.
that's what this is too. I mean, there is that side. I'm not arguing that. It's the same kind of people that get mad about, a comic character being gay or something like that. Like same
But if they weren't showing
Same
her,
stuff.
they'd be
showing
looking
someone.
for they'd
Right.
be looking for the hottest couple so they
Yeah.
could do the kiss cam thing or whatever, right?
And they don't do that in the camp. They do that in the arena, but they don't, or the stadium. They don't do that for the actual game. But yeah, football's all about professional sports is about selling storytelling and selling narrative. And when you have literally the biggest pop star in the world
Right.
dating a guy who's pretty popular himself, but I mean, and you have a super couple, it's like the people that get mad about the football girl and the football player and the pretty girl from high school dating. It's like some people are really into it, and then some people are just like mad because other people are into it, which is weird. Like I said, these guys are being as gatekeepy as we see in comics, right? Whenever people are like, "Oh man, this person shouldn't be reading comics or talking about comics. What right do they have to do that?" It's the same. It's the exact same thing. Like nerds. Hey, Kasan. It's nerds don't like their thing being taken from. It's no different than like Dave probably get this from the band standpoint. Like you got a good band, right? That's like all of a sudden hits
God.
big, and everybody's like, "Oh, I liked it back when they were a little under."
Yeah,
I
when
don't
they
like
weren't
sharing-
popular.
I don't like sharing that thing that I love.
One of the greatest examples is Metallica.
Well,
because
to be
they
fair,
became-
the Black Album wasn't great. Like, so I kind of get that one.
No, but let's be honest. Like,
Talk about things I don't know
they've
about.
become one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah.
But before that, when they were not as known, Master of Puppets timeline, then people go, "Oh, they were better then," and it's like, well, they evolved over the years. Is really what it comes down to.
Most bands did.
Well, every band does. Every band changes their sound, with the exception of AC/DC. Like, so AC/DC's released the same album 14 times, and it's always good. So, I get that. Like, but to be fair, in the case of Metallica, like Master of Puppets and Justice were better than the Black Album, and I like Load.
You can hear the
I'm a
bass
big
in the
Load
Black
fan.
Album.
You cannot hear. Yeah, you can't hear the bass in the Black Album.
Can you hear the cowbell?
Very mean. There's no cowbell in Metallica. You're
Damn it!
Blue Oyster
Well, it
Cult.
needs more cowbell.
Oh
No.
God.
No.
But exactly, like it happens in music all the time. It happens, but I think it's also another aspect of this that people don't ever understand is that when something becomes so popular, so big, anyone that is not a fan of the thing that is so big, their voices become magnified somehow as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, there's also people that hate it only to get notoriety.
For sure.
Like because it gets some clicks,
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this band because I hate Taylor Swift. Oh, everybody's going to pile onto them. But in this day and age, for the last 50 years,
engagement, baby,
exactly.
That trumps everything.
No publicity. What is it? No publicity is bad publicity, right? Right? Good, bad, it doesn't matter.
Controversy creates cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just wild to me that I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. So two people have fallen in love and it's adorable. And I think it's awesome. And like, people just hate that. People hate, especially celebrities. People hate celebrities being happy.
Yeah. No,
they like it for a little bit and then they want to see it blow up because it's more entertaining for them.
Because it's Schadenfreude, right? It's Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude, yes.
We like seeing people that are quote unquote better than us suffer.
Schadenfreude is the idea of a person liking to watch somebody suffer. That's the idea of watching somebody suffer and enjoying it. That's
much like Dave with social media madness.
Yes.
Dave enjoys watching us suffer, as do the viewers and listeners of this show.
Oh, that would have been a perfect transition, but
I know we weren't ready for it yet.
We weren't ready for it yet. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to be ready for it. So that's,
I never do.
We're not going to help you with your Schadenfreude, Dave.
But I will say I've been amused by people like you, JD, who you do post things like I don't understand why people
like me. I don't understand.
Right, and then I see other people posting like things against Taylor Swift and against Kansas City, and it's like, why? Like, this is just silly.
It is silly, but it's great for the NFL.
Yeah,
it's fantastic for them. There's a narrative surrounding the game, and whenever there's here's the trick about sports and like sports production. I'll go into my previous life here. You always want those extra tethers into a sporting event because it brings in the casual fan. Like the average person can't talk about deep routes and the West Coast offense. I'm just trying to throw out stuff for who Don Coryell was. You can't get most people don't understand those things, but anybody can understand like a dramatic narrative, like David over Goliath or two. In this case, star-crossed lovers, maybe everyone those kind of tethers bring in people who aren't traditional fans, and then you try to create them as fans, right? Then you get there's a lot of little girls out there that are watching football because of Taylor Swift. And if they actually become football fans, that's great for the NFL.
Yeah, just like a lot of people watched golf because of Tiger Woods, and Serena Williams brought a whole lot of people to tennis. But I mean, Taylor Swift and boyfriends, like the people that are way more interested in it. Yeah, I know.
Give the man a name. Come on.
Okay, Travis Kelce. Right, but the only people that are more interested in it are in Las Vegas, doing the betting on how long this one will last. Which is it's wrong, because you should hope that she finds somebody. You should hope anybody everybody finds somebody to love.
Boy, that's
Except me. It's not going to happen for me. But I wish that everybody finds somebody to love. You know, and we should, and it's horrible how we treat the celebrities when we just like, you know, yeah.
John says he doesn't care about Casey Swift except for the constant cuts to the booth showing her.
It's actually not that bad. It's actually when they timed it out, they actually did a study. It wasn't that bad. It was no more cuts than they normally do when you get a celebrity in.
It's like 45 seconds out of 11 minutes of football, out of 2.5 hours of sitting there in the cold. Right, and what was it? There was a game in Illinois or something, and she went to it. It was like negative 20 degrees. Like she's not just there. You know, she could have been. And this is Taylor Swift. I heard a comedian say this. She could have been anywhere else, anywhere at all in the world. But she went to a game, negative 20 degrees, sat in the stands and watched the thing. Like,
to be fair, she sits in the press. She sits in the suite. Like she sits in the family suite. You know, so she's comfortable.
Yeah, she's not sitting on.
No,
okay, but still.
She's not like her madman future brother-in-law who's out there running around in Buffalo shirtless, you know, in the cold. That guy's great, by the way. Jason Kelsey is awesome. It's hilarious. This is why you come to this show, right? To listen to us talk about football and pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yes.
Yeah, what we do. Or superheroes.
And it's funny because the Grammys are on tonight, and she's supposed to make a big announcement during the Grammys.
Probably something about her tour. Like, it's not going to be about the love life.
No,
she ain't gonna do.
So, and you guys, I'm sure, don't follow this stuff. I found this out not that long ago. It's interesting. The Soros Group ended up buying the master recordings of all her early recordings because the record company put them up for auction.
It wasn't just Soros. It was a guy who actually hates her.
Scooter Braun.
Yeah, Scooter, and he worked. I guess he got some investment from one of Soros's things, but it was Scooter that bought them out of spite, and you know, and doesn't talk to her at all about this stuff. That's why she re-recorded everything, and that's why every new contract out there for recording artists says you can't re-record your stuff.
She's a badass, re-recording her own music and re-releasing it.
Well,
and
that's the whole thing.
Fans not to listen.
The whole thing is the reason she's re-recording them is it makes the originals worthless at that point.
Right.
So and I actually applaud her for that. That was a smart move. Yeah.
Like that's some like Zach De La Roca, like Rage Against the Machine level pettiness. Like when it comes to anti-music and stuff, I fucking love it. She's great.
Yeah.
Kassan says that's another thing that's died this decade. The award shows,
pretty much,
award shows suck, man. Like it's so glad handing, it's so boring. And I used to love watching the Oscars when I was a kid, but it's painful
it's become a popularity contest in extreme.
But it's not,
and, you know,
in the Oscars in particular, it's not a popularity contest.
Well, I mean, pop in their circles, but like when you talk about what the audiences love, you know. Like, you're never going to see a Marvel movie get much of anything, even if it was Godzilla -1 will never get anywhere near Best Picture or anything or any of that stuff.
It should win the Oscar for Best Special Effects because it had the best special effects in the smallest budget. So, you know, if it doesn't, there's problems.
But just to wrap around, because, you know, I'm glad you heard about that, Dave, but that guy Scooter that bought her stuff is scum of the earth. If you ever hear about him.
He a bad dude. A bad dude.
Yeah.
So
and it's like he's a poster boy for why we should tax the rich because they just use their money to make other people miserable for the hell of it because they like it because of Schadenfreude. They like, but it's the worst kind of Schadenfreude. You know, they like causing misery.
And his name is Scooter, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think the announcement is she's going to announce the first record's coming out or something. So
it could be.
Well, no, she's recorded a couple of them already. She's got another album coming out, another re-recorded album.
She's great. I think I'm not a huge.
Oh yeah, no, she's amazing.
Her music is not for me. That's okay. I respect her as an artist and a business person. That is she is good.
I've been to one of her concerts. They're amazing. Oh my God. They are hilarious and fun.
The girls in my class live and die by what she says. Laura was like, Mr. Leva, can I have control? The aux. That's what the kids always call, when you plug in an auxiliary. They all call it the aux. It's such a how young people take over language thing.
Yep.
So they're like, Mr. Leva, can I have the aux today? And it's just it's Taylor. And I like putting on because all the boys are always like, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they're secretly
and then you
listening
just tell
too.
them, just tell the boys, shake it off. All right.
Oh God.
We haven't even gotten to how everyone's week was, man. I started a tangent by saying, can't wait for her to win the Super Bowl.
No, we started this by interrupting you introducing the show.
Oh, well, that's true.
What were we even talking about?
We were talking about BTS and types of genres
music.
of music.
We've been doing a lot of music talk this week's show. Oh, because nothing's happening. That's why.
I know, right?
Speak. All right. So how is everyone's week? John, how are you? What's new in your life?
I'm okay. I am going to watch this. We're mentioning this in one of our news stories, but I am going to be watching this Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Apparently, there's Parts 2 and Parts 3 that'll be coming out. Which is
12-issue comic book series, John. It takes a lot to condense that stuff.
I know, but the thing is that they're doing it in the DC animated universe, which, like the rebooted one, which is after the rebooted one, which is after the Bruce Timm one, and like they haven't even gotten like three movies into this new anime universe, and they're already doing Crisis. Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, they haven't done a Chris. I mean, they don't have to establish a continuity. Like it's bad. Like everyone knows. Like again, DC's at its best when it's not really focused on continuity.
Yeah,
I know, but like they could have built off of the Bruce Timm one where they just had like 18 or 19 movies or something. That's something you build up to something like this. But
it could build off of Bruce Timm. I mean, Bruce Timm's been involved for 30 years. Like they could just. It doesn't matter. We've had generations now of like DC animated stuff. Just fucking slap a Crisis in there. It's a Crisis.
Well, they did. We'll see how it goes. I just got it like a couple of days ago, so I'll watch it for the next show. But otherwise, everything's just fine. Nothing to report, which is actually good these days.
Yeah,
I guess. I am looking for a new top shelf bottle of bourbon because the election is coming up and I'm going to need it. Planning on taking the next day off.
But you got quite a few months before that,
John. It's.
I have to find a really, really good one and then probably save up for
it. Don't do this to yourself. We just started. Like, don't make yourself miserable till September at the earliest.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Like here's the thing: is the media? Okay, let's do this. We'll get off the topic. The media is just going to push these things because they want people to watch. Like they want to I'll say it. The Fox News's audience is old white people, and they want them to make sure they're engaged. So they're going to talk about it all the time. And MSNBC's audience is like slightly younger white people, so they're going to get them all worked up and want them to be engaged. Like this is just what I mean. If you fall for the 24-hour news cycle at this stage, of your life,
I know.
It doesn't matter. It's all noise, and none of these polls matter. Like it's gonna matter. It's gonna come down to what happens on election day and where things stand. Like we learned that dude, the world was in complete chaos 4 years ago, right? Yep. And who the hell knew what would happen then? So I mean,
and then the pandemic hit, and then the Fire Nation attacked. So it's like it was bad. Don't tell kids that these days, and
don't get worked up about elections.
Anyway, I will tell you one thing, Dave. I finished a whole bunch of the authors I normally follow. They're all finishing their series. So I'm looking for a new urban fantasy series, that sort of thing. So anybody watching this, give me suggestions.
Hold on. I saw something that made me think of you. I watched one of these chefs on like TikTok reels and stuff, and he was doing a French onion soup, and he put a whiskey in it, and I never heard of it before, and I looked it up, and it's $1,000 a bottle. And he put like a shot of this in the thing. I'll have to
speak of me the name of this whiskey.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll find it again and I'll send it to you.
Because there's a $1,000 bottle of Reposado that I want to get, but like I'm gonna get it after I get my tax return and everything, and it's up in Connecticut, in a small shop. Behind the counter in a place where there's a bunch of dust on it.
The funny thing was the guy just put a shot of it in. It's not like he poured the bottle in,
Oh yeah, but
and the thing is, the comments were like, "How dare you waste that whiskey?" And it was like, "No, I like French onion soup. That was probably really good."
I hate French onion soup. It's disgusting.
Well, you know what? You're disgusting, JD. And by the way, we missed you last.
Slip of the tongue there,
that Freudian slip was interesting there, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
I'm sorry, JD. And we missed you last week. How are you doing?
I'm good. I took last week off. I was fried. The kid had a lot going on, so I was like, I need the day. So I had a mental health week last week. I appreciate you giving me. We're now in the state series for wrestling. We started our regional last week. We took second in our regional, which, behind the defending state champs. So we did all right. Reasonably happy that next week is our sectional, and then it's the state tournament. So not this Sunday. Actually, I got bad news, guys. Next Sunday is my birthday, so my wife will divorce me if I'm on the show and not doing something with the family.
So your wife and your kid are coming on the show too, then, right?
The kid would love to be on the show more than anything in the whole world, but the wife is not going to be happy. So I'm going to be off next week, and then the following week I'll be home. So what's good?
No, well, see, next week is also the Super Bowl.
I'm not watching. I could care. Honestly, I don't watch football.
Even the commercials aren't that great anymore.
Here's the thing. My personal life ruins sports. They do. Like, I made my living in sports videography for years, in sports photography. So now I'm teaching it, and I coach, and I do all kinds of stuff. When I have free time, I would rather watch a movie or read a book, and which is why I'm here. So I'm probably not going to watch the Super Bowl. I'm probably going to go out to dinner because I'm be able to get a seat anywhere I want for my birthday because it's going to be empty.
Fair enough.
And the game will be check out what's going on here and there, but ultimately, I have no vested interest in Kansas City versus San Francisco. Mike, who I think is listening, my best buddy Mike Gilbert, Mike and JD show every Thursday night on YouTube with the Voices of Wrestling Network, is going to live or die by every play because he is a giant San Francisco 49ers fan. And I really would like to watch him suffer, is what it really comes down to. So go Taylor Swift, go Chiefs, hope Travis Kelce scores 3 touchdowns, and Mike is in a bad mood because it makes for our show to be a lot more entertaining Thursday nights on YouTube.
Freaking brilliant.
Oh my God.
Hell of a plug. I hope I get a text in about 15 minutes where he's just like, fuck you. If I don't have that, I'm going to be remarkably disappointed.
Yeah. So,
how are you, Dave?
Yes. What's going on, Dave?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. On a very uneventful week. Still have this congestion in my chest that's driving me nuts, but it's getting better now. We celebrated my mother's 81st birthday.
Well, happy
yesterday.
birthday!
It was her birthday, so yeah, we actually celebrated it yesterday, and yeah, had some cake and ice cream and some sandwiches from a local shop, and yeah, and then it's funny because my brothers, I was like talking to my one brother, I'm like, do you have any ideas what we should get her? And he's like, oh, she needs a better antenna for her TV because she just doesn't have cable upstairs. She just has a high def TV with an antenna, but it's one of those flat ones you stick to the wall, and it she doesn't get a lot of channels with it.
I didn't even know they were still transmitting free TV channels like that.
Oh, all HD stuff is transmitted for free now, and it's like they transmit 4K signals, and airwaves that we had when we were, and I say we because this is literally from the 50s to the early 2000s, we're all in the same wavelengths they had anymore. Those are all now those wavelengths all belong to cell phones, and the 4K stuff is being broadcast at higher elevations, so you need different types of antennas to catch it. Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, at higher frequencies, though, the radius of the transmission is a lot shorter.
Yes.
A lot smaller because
yes.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So anyway, what I was saying is so I started looking at antennas, and he's like, oh, I saw this thing advertised called Tableau. It's new, and I think we should get that for her. And I'm like, okay. And I looked it up, and essentially, it's kind of like a Roku. It has a DVR though built into it, so if you're watching live television with it, you can use it like a
TiVo.
That's the word I was looking for. Use it like a TiVo.
Word.
Yeah. So, all right. So, but the antenna that came with was crap. So I bought her a good antenna and this thing, And then I gave it to her and I explained to her what it was because, again, she's 81. She doesn't understand this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, okay, who's going to set this up for me? And both my brothers pointed at me. I was like, you jerks. So,
that's the job of a geek in the family, is to be the one to set that stuff up.
Yes. And then,
back in the day, program the VCR.
Oh my God.
It used to be that you hoped your kids were going to be doctors, but now you hope one of them's going to be your IT support.
That's a good line. That's a good one, John.
Yes,
Yeah, well, that's because my nephew Connor is like the entire family, everybody in Connecticut all my family lives in Connecticut. Like, he's the one that gets the call if anything happens, and he's like 11.
Anyone that works with computers in their family becomes the tech support for everything.
Yep.
Tech support! You guys ever see Vanilla Sky?
No.
You ever saw
Vanilla Sky? Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, Cameron Crowe movie. It's a trip. I like
it a lot. Is that the one? Oh, Cameron Diaz?
Cameron Diaz, yeah. And Penelope Cruz are the...
Yes. Yeah,
it's a good movie.
It is a
weird
good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I think I'm going to start watching the new Reacher TV show that's on Prime.
I hear nothing but good things about that show. I've had like 5 people recommend it to me.
I saw the first season. It was really, really good. I'm wondering what the second season is going to be.
And one of the main things I keep hearing is that the movie was so not the books.
Well, yeah, because Jack Reacher is Jack Reacher's like 6'6". Again, I studied a lot of Reacher when I was writing thrillers and stuff. Reacher's a big dude, so of course Tom Cruise is like, well, I want to play the 6'6" Jack Reacher, and like, no. So Alan Richardson, who played Aquaman on Smallville, is the new Reacher, and he's better for the part.
And he's huge. That boy's got gains for years. And we've talked about it before. Like, I like the Tom Cruise ones, but this is growing on me. And the character is I don't know. The character's good. You know, like I enjoyed the first season. I know the second season's out. I want to go take a look at it too.
I just keep seeing this clip from when he gets arrested, because I know he gets blamed for a murder and then he ends up getting involved solving the case.
Yep,
it's the premise. But like, he's in hand tie. He's zip tied because the handcuffs wouldn't fit him. He's being processed, and then the clip ends with him in the jail cell, and he just pops the zip tie.
Yep.
You know, and then he's handing it to the guard. He's like, "Do you guys recycle?" And it was like just to prove he could have broken out at any moment, but he let himself be captured.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like
that's good writing, I think. So,
that like, if you know how like zip ties, it's not that hard.
Right.
There's a tech.
So, all right, and then the other thing was my girlfriend walked out of the bathroom. She winked at me and she said, "I shaved down there. You know what that means?" And I said, "Yeah, the drain's clogged." Sorry, that was the inappropriate joke of the week. JD, did your internet freeze?
No, I'm just processing that one. There's a lot of dark places that could go.
Yes.
So I actually had an incident a couple weeks ago. My students came up to me. No, this is case in point. One of my students came up to me and said, "My aunt is your podcast," and I went, "Oh dear God, which one?"
Oh God, no.
And she said, "The wrestling one," and I went, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my job." So I'm trying to watch myself with the things I say now on these shows. Because apparently, I hope I just don't. I have one more year till I get tenured. So, and I was just like, really? Watch the wrestling one? I thought for sure they're going to say this show. And then I thought to myself, no, that's not better. As Dave's talking to tear down his drain. What constitutes as his drain? You can use your imagination to figure that out. But ew.
You're not helping yourself.
I don't. I never do. That's the problem.
Dave, you got to stop. I'm actually wanting to go on to social media madness now.
Well, there you go. Let's do some.
Look how red John gets when the dirty jokes come up. It's really
I just don't need them.
It's just,
all right, let's move to a topic John loves. So last week, exactly. Last week it was the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. We talked about it on the show. John was happy as a pig in shit, and
John loves Dungeons and Dragons, man.
And we had some people comment on it. Kassan said, we asked if any of our fans played. Kassan said, yes, I play. I'm waiting for the Superhero Speak one-off session. Make it happen. Superhero news is slow.
It is slow right now. You can come guest in the show this week because I'm not doing it.
You know, Kassan, I've been actually thinking about it. I would run one for you guys. I can run it, and you guys can be the ones to pick the teams and go against each other.
You remember when Kassan tried to set the rules for this stuff, and it went completely off the rails?
No, I would. No. I would run it like a normal D&D game. I've been actually thinking a lot about this.
Okay.
I could do it, and the rules would be pretty straightforward. I just need to know what your teams are, and then I can assign, damage and all that, and other rules, and then let you go on, and then I would referee.
All right, moving on.
It would actually be interesting.
Randy Savage said, "I've only played like 3 times, but it's getting better each time." And Don said, "I play, but prefer to play the Star Wars version." I didn't know there was a Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
role-playing.
There's role playing for almost everything, every major thing. I think there's a Star Trek one too, but Star Wars has been around for a long time. The role playing one.
I'm gonna guess since 1977 or so.
No, but probably a little bit after Dungeons and Dragons. Was it the Satanic Panic years, when it got into the social zeitgeist, and then everybody was like, oh wait, we could do this with this and this. What if I assign this many points to a Wookiee, and oh yeah, I want to play a Wookiee now, and then so
guys, this is a.
I was gonna say they kind of steered the Satanic Panic stuff into the last season of Stranger Things, which was kind of cool.
I know, yeah.
This is a tremendous evening, by the way. We finally got responses on Threads for one of our posts.
I
Sarah
didn't even know we were on Threads. Oh, that doesn't count. Tim responded. That doesn't count.
Tim Jones said, John's been playing it so long, it was called Dungeons and One Dragon.
It was called Hallway and Newt, probably.
Sour grapes. Available.
Hallway and Lizard instead of Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it was.
I've always said that fantasy football is basically Dungeons and Dragons for sports geeks.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I have no... My geekdom only goes so far. When you start making me do math and stuff.
And then James Burton said it was called Chainmail originally. I'm such a nerd. Was it originally
is that a gag or?
I don't know. I've heard of Chainmail. See, I have the original 3 Manila handbooks from 1974, I think. I know. I don't know. I've heard of that, but I can't. I don't remember where that is in the history.
Yeah.
Because they formed TSR before they did the 3 or 4 Manila rule books, before they came out with the red box that everybody knows from the 70s, and then the blue box for the expert rules for the 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have to look that up.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Other than Dragons, the fact that John didn't know and JD's falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. I'm embarrassed here.
All right. Moving on.
I'm also embarrassed.
Moving on, we talked about last week that they announced that the filming for Deadpool 3 is officially wrapped. And we asked people if they were excited for it. And over on YouTube, we had Zach Orion say...
I'm sure that's his real name.
Yeah, 3 would be great if Disney execs wouldn't would have let Ryan keep the material he wrote. All they care about is pandering and using it for cameos to progress the future projects. They're
God,
going to ruin it.
What's more boring than John's D&D spiel?
Hey,
I said it was more boring. I didn't say it was less boring. We hear this all the time. You're just going to just get ruin it. Everything Disney just going to ruin it. Oh, I'm so sick of that. And I believe me, no one's more guilty of that than me. But I mean, like, it's such a tired argument at this point. I'm bored. I'm bored with that argument. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
well, that Disney is I mean,
Ruins everything. Like, we haven't seen a fucking trailer for this thing yet. Like,
No,
can we wait?
haven't.
Can we take a look at it before we shit? And if it's bad, I have no problem shitting on it when we've seen it. Like, I just want to see it before we decide it's bad, because the first movies were good.
I know, and I would not doubt that Ryan Reynolds is going to keep the quality of this up. I mean, but I understand how people feel when they've watched Disney like ruin all of their own IP with all the live action, very inferior versions of all their original animated movies, and then started, and then the decline of the MCU, the hit and miss of the Star Wars stuff. Like, I understand where it's coming from, but
Star Wars has been good the last almost 5 years now.
Let's not. Yeah, I'm going to get into that when we get to our main topic. I don't agree with the attitude of the comment, but as is a lot of complaints that people have, is that they have ruined a lot of movies by forcing in, like, oh, this is what's coming next kind of scenes. I mean, isn't that one of the big complaints of Age of Ultron, was forcing in the Thor in the pool scene?
Yes, it was 9 years ago. And we did get a lot of good stuff after that. It's been very hit or miss lately, let's be honest. Yeah. But I mean, like, there's no reason to shit on this movie. We don't know what it looks like. They haven't even edited anything. They just wrapped filming. Can we just keep treating it as Schrodinger's film? Like, maybe it sucks, maybe it's great. Like, it's somewhere in the middle until we actually see it, and then we can shit on it. Like, we're not talking about Madam Web here.
I was going to say, it's not like they're Warner Brothers and Fox. They're not. It's not like they're Warner Brothers.
We all said said Madam Web
or Sony.
Like, sounds like a bad idea. And then the trailer comes out, and we're like, yep,
it's a bad idea. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney looks great as Spider-Woman. I'll just say that. Highlight of the movie is that. And then I have no interest.
Yeah.
It's just like Julia Carpenter. It's a great, phenomenal costume.
Yeah. I won't disagree with that. All right.
Dave, what are you doing playing with your phone during the show?
Because the comments aren't coming up on my computer, so I had to bring them up on my phone.
You look like you're checked out and you're just playing with your phone on the show.
Oh, I'm trying to bring up TikTok so I can look at the comments for the next one.
Or we can skip the segment.
No, we're almost done. Let's just let it finish it out.
I tried.
I'd like to talk more about D&D and chainmail. So
the question that
I almost said I would like to talk about such and such in chainmail, but I didn't. Actually, I did by making that joke. So never mind. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Kasana's right, by the way.
So finally, I did ask our audience a question this week. So the synopsis for Deadpool 3 came out, and it simply says, the irresponsible hero Deadpool, along with Wolverine, changes the history of the MCU. Right? Which could mean 1,000 different things, right? Like
crisis.
It's almost like it's intentionally vague.
Right. Mm-hmm. But of course, I can't let it lay there. I had to be like, okay, what do you think it means? Does this mean how they're bringing the X-Men into the MCU? Is this going to be a soft reboot? All of these things. So over on YouTube, our good friend Don said, reboot, baby, all the way. And over on the TikToks, 8-Bit Ray said, in order to fix the shit show that the superhero genre is, it's necessary to rearrange the pieces on the board.
Ray actually sent me a nice little DM this week to talk about wrestling, and I kind of miss talking to Ray. Like, I hope he can, come back on and get involved and just at least lurk in the chat a little bit. I miss you, buddy. Come back around.
Yeah, I know. But all of his comments are negative anymore on our
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, but that's Ray. Like,
Yeah, that's
you don't
true.
listen. You don't listen to 8-Bit Ray for like the happy stuff.
No.
Like,
And then Jonico said, "This is a translation of a foreign language synopsis, so it would take a wording. I would take the wording with a grain of salt." And I get
Oh,
that, but there isn't a
fair.
lot
That's a
of
good
words
point.
there. There isn't a lot there to like misinterpret. Like it's very it's vague on purpose. So the only thing I can think is maybe instead of history, that was future. Like the future of the MCU will never be the same. So yeah,
Who knows?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Try not to.
Again, we've said this already that from all the pictures that leaked, it looks like it is Deadpool kills the Fox universe, right?
We're gonna get Ryan Reynolds. We're gonna get Hugh Jackman back in the MCU. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm looking forward to this. And Hugh Jackman has made bad movies as Wolverine. Don't get me wrong, but he is never the problem.
Well, and the funny thing is, he said after Logan he was done. He wasn't. He was done with Wolverine.
Yeah, until Ryan Reynolds,
Ryan
called him
Reynolds said, "Hey, man, what if we got to do this right and doing it for the MCU?" And then he was like,
right.
"Okay, I can come out of retirement one time." Hey, the man's going through a rough divorce right now. I say we support Hugh Jackman, who ruined his singing voice apparently to play Wolverine, and love him.
I don't know. He did a great. When I saw him on Broadway, he was great. So
man, I saw that we went to Argyle this week. More on that later. And they did a trailer for the re-release of Les Miserables. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah,
he's so talented.
He's very talented.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I mean, the man's amazing.
So
he's Australia's greatest export since Yahoo Serious.
I wonder how much of our audience got that reference.
Making a lot of assumptions there, man.
That is a dated joke if I've ever told one.
All right. Well, that is it, guys, for Social Media Madness.
Thank you.
There was much celebration. So if you want to know how you can follow Superhero Speak and get more and be part of Social Media Madness for next week, there's a good friend, Don, to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Do you want to be part of Social Media Madness? Well, go ahead and head on over to superheroespeak.com. You'll find all the links you need, episodes of the show, comic reviews by Chris, and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, you can also check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars podcast network. Include great shows like the Pop Prison Power podcast, Colt 45, baby, So Wizard podcast, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All-Stars, and you're not going to be disappointed. So, make sure that you are commenting on our Twitter articles. Could be a poignant comment, could be a stupid one. Either way, gives you a chance for Dave to possibly mispronounce your Twitter handle. All right, well, I've rambled on enough. Let's head back to Dave and the gents on Superhero Speak.
I like that commercial. It's the old one where Don doesn't make me sound like a lech.
Right, exactly. I figured I played the new ones the last 2 weeks. You guys deserve a break. So
Don completely shits on John and I in that one.
Yes,
It's fine.
Thank you so much for that, Don. While we're here, as always, don't let me forget. Please hit that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss when we go live on Sunday nights. Sometimes with JD, sometimes not.
I missed one show in like a year. And I'll just miss another one next week, coincidentally.
All right. Well, on that note, we got a new one. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Here.
We'll be right back with the news.
Here we go.
Go.
Some podcasts are like this.
So I had this debate the other day in the car. So you know Helen Keller. So apparently... Bitch. You were. Okay. Oh my god. I'm a live audience, and I could ask them, does he even deserve? Does he even deserve me to continue? Oh my god.
And some podcasts are like this.
DC Talk used to have this song that was like, we're just two honks and a Negro serving the Lord.
What? You lying? Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
When you really break it down, we're just two honks and a Negro serving the Lord. We're just two honks and a Negro singing our song.
Bruh. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
And murder them like they are getting like emulted, like they're being burned the fuck alive.
Yeah, they are literally turning to ash
It was Thanos snap. They're like,
but it was two butt cheeks instead.
Yeah, two butt cheeks of our Lord.
Thanos clapping.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
I give you the American education system.
You are definitely going to get fired after that, Judy.
There was no that one, and somehow it was more offensive.
No, the first one was more offensive than the Japanese show.
Oh, I don't know about that. That girl was freebasing a fart in that last clip of the movie.
In what you're talking about the land of hentai. So like
I know Japan.
That's tame compared to.
I know, but that girl, I don't care. That woman stood in front of another woman's ass, and freebased a fart.
I find it more offensive that somebody from the American education system doesn't know the difference between Helen Keller and Anne Frank.
Well, as someone who works in the American, okay, I get tired of people burying the American education system when we're trying, man. We're freaking trying.
Oh, it's not
you. Know how dumb some of these kids are.
I know, but they underfunded you. They're funneling money from you to these charter school crap things that don't even have better outcomes. Like
And we've talked about the freebasing of the fart. We talked about the kid I didn't know who Helen Keller was, and we've ignored two hunks. And the only person that could have found that and put that out there is Randy, because he is a black man. So that was the thing that I just watched.
Well, at least it wasn't the N word. I mean.
No, Dave, we can't touch this.
No, we're not. We are not qualified for that.
I'm not going to say.
Push the button.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
No, we don't.
Nope.
So, Randy, you've outdone yourself this week, my friend. I don't know if I should congratulate you or send someone to make sure you're okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
That was a thing that I just watched.
It was.
This was a thing.
This was the thing.
And you did watch it, yes.
I watched it. I watched a woman freebasing a fart from another woman. All
right. Let's move on to the
Please.
news.
I'm begging us.
This is an awkward transition. So,
So is that movie.
Carl Weathers passed away.
I know. Isn't it a bummer?
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Carl Weathers.
I mean, obviously, if people who aren't familiar with Carl Weathers, which I don't know how you wouldn't be.
Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed from Rocky.
The original Predator movie.
Predator, Action Jackson, and of
Yep.
course Mandalorian.
Happy Gilmore. He was
Happy
Chubbs.
Gilmore.
Happy
Yep.
Gilmore Chubbs, right? Oh God, he was brilliant. He's brilliant in all of that. Like I've never seen him do a bad show. Like
No.
he you know he
He
always gave it all his all.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like, well, first off, I actually follow Sylvester Stallone on Instagram.
He was
Ugh.
emotional. He was emotional.
And
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? And he even like he had such nice things to say about him, and the fact that he was like, I owe a lot of my career to him.
Does
was just like, and he's honest, you know what I mean? Like he didn't just come out and say, "Oh, I lost a friend." He was like, you know, honest about I've lost someone who helped launch my career. So, yeah.
Rocky doesn't work. Rocky won Best Picture. Let us not forget the first Rocky movie won. That movie does not work without Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You needed the genius of Rocky is how well cast it is. Right? And Stallone had to fight to play Rocky. It's his script, like right? It's his brainchild. And he had to fight tooth and nail to play Rocky. And then you have to find the perfect antagonist who isn't hateable, but you still want him to see him lose.
Right.
And then he's so good at being that guy that by the time the third Rocky comes along and the two of them become best friends, I'm in tears when I watch Rocky 3 because of the friendship of Rocky and Apollo. Because these two guys have such mutual respect for the wars that they've had with each other that the Apollo Creed character cannot handle the fact that Balboa got beat by someone, right? His ego cannot handle watching Rocky loses. So he's like, I'm going to train this guy to beat this man. And in the process of these two guys with these wounded egos forges like one of cinema's greatest friendships. Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work if Carl Weathers isn't so goddamn likable. Because Apollo Creed shouldn't be likable. He should be a villain, but he's so fucking charming and so likable. Like Apollo, like, man, Carl Weathers was really great. Really great. Because a lesser actor would have made Creed Clubber Lang, where you just hated him. No redeeming qualities. But that's not what you get with him.
He was on The Heat of the Night too. Which
the movie
probably
or the TV show?
Yeah, the TV show. No,
Who did he play?
In Street Justice. I'm just looking through his stuff. Like, but what he's really known for is, you know, all four first Rockies, right? All first
He
four
dies
Rockies.
in Rocky. He dies in Rocky 4. Like his death is what culminates like in this Rocky. Like when that No Easy Way Out montage. So this semester I had my video 1 class and we were talking about montage, right? And I showed the original Rocky montage because it's like one of the most famous montages in history. And then I also showed No Easy Way Out to like talk about MTV style montage and how it changed. And like that No Easy Way Out montage is like one of the best montages in film because you encapsulate 4 movies and you get Rocky's story, but you also get the story of what these two men meant to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so by the time Apollo dies, these two are best friends where Rocky Jr. calls him Uncle Apollo. Like they love each other. Like that's a movie where that's really the story of a man searching for justice for the loss of his best friend, which we don't talk enough about Rocky 4 as a revenge film because it's not really, but it's really about a man coping with loss and coping with his culpability in watching his best friend die and not do. There's a lot of heavy themes that go on in Rocky 4 that get largely ignored because it's essentially 7 music videos strung together.
Yeah, pretty much. But
it really is. But I mean, like that is a movie that again, it only works because of the chemistry of those two guys.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just, man, I could wax philosophically about what those movies mean forever. I love them so much.
What are they going to do about the Mandalorian? Because he was kind of he was a glue character. Like, you know, he would show up or he would move the plot along, but he was fun in that show.
He was great.
He was climbing the ranks. We were watching him climb the ranks in the
he's
as
like,
Grief Karga. So
he's like the magistrate at the end of the last season.
Well, he dies. You can actually make that work, much like Rocky 3 or Rocky 4. Like you can make his death help move the story along for the Mandalorian. So, you know, it's a shame, man. I mean, world's a worse place today than it was a few days ago without Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Love that. Man.
Agree. Yep. He will be missed.
Sorry, guys. I went film school nerd on you with Apollo.
No, it's good. Like, younger people that haven't seen those, like those Rocky movies were okay. They are a product of the '80s. I give you that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing. No, there's nothing wrong. They were very good movies. Like if you're going to watch old movies, those should be on your list.
Stop there. Don't watch 5. 5's bad.
Yeah, no, yeah. 5 after that, but the Creed were I haven't seen them yet.
The Creed movie, the original Creed is great. Creed 2 is okay. Creed 3 is not very good. It's, similar. Rocky Balboa is a fun movie. I like Rocky Balboa. There's a lot going on. Rocky 5 is just bad. Don't watch Rocky 5.
Yeah, no, don't. That doesn't exist.
All right. Moving on. The DCU has cast their Supergirl. So, Millie Alcock.
Big fan. Love this.
Millie Alcock, who was in the, what was it, House of Dragon?
House of the Dragon.
TV.
She stole the show in House of the Dragon. She hangs with Matt Smith. Like, the whole, whatever.
She stole the show from Matt Smith?
Yes. The chemistry. I know. The chemistry between her and Matt Smith makes the first, I think it's 3 or 4 episodes of how, because they have a big time jump in the middle of House of the Dragon. It goes like 20 years in the future. So you lose that. But the chemistry between Millie Alcock and Matt Smith is fantastic. She carries the first wing of that show. She's great.
Yeah.
I think this is genius casting. They're going to go with the Tom King version of Supergirl. I love it. One, she's got a great look. She's a really good actress. She looks like Kara Zor-El in general. I love this whole thing. Gunn doesn't make bad casting decisions. Say what you want about him. Everyone in Guardians was cast perfectly.
And if she can steal the soul from Matt Smith, I don't know if people don't know. Matt Smith was one of the doctors from Doctor Who, and he was like one of the most popular ones of all time. And the man is a walking personality. And
walking charisma machine.
Yeah. He steals a he'll steal a scene anytime he's in it, and if she can work on that level, this is gonna be good.
She's good, man. She is good.
Other than when he was in Morpheus.
That movie sucked. Well, no,
he was still there. Yeah, he was the best part.
Yeah, that dance sequence was
exactly.
You haven't seen House of the Dragon, John?
I haven't.
Thank you, Kassan. It's really good.
1,079 episodes of One Piece. When did I have time for House of Dragon?
There are other shows on television.
But yes, you're right. The dance scene in Morbius, like you can't fault him for that show.
Thing in the movie, most memorable thing in the movie.
Yes, yep. I think I do like in the announcement. The version of Supergirl they're going with, I like that idea of having her be a darker version of Supergirl versus a light version of Superman, which tells you he gets it. He's going to have a lighter Superman raised by good parents in Kansas. Like he said this in the announcement. So, yeah, it makes me more excited.
Yes.
No parents. Yeah.
Son says season 2 of House of Dragon is about to be released.
Can't wait. He won't be in it though, which is a shame because she got written off the show. But it ended in a good spot. House of Dragon better than the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones for sure.
Also, she can't be in it because she's busy being Supergirl now. So
this is true. Well, they filmed it already. So she just got cast.
Oh yeah.
Although Mark Miller brought up a good point. Like, who's directing this Superman movie, and why aren't they casting the film if they're not directing? And I kind of went, I don't like Mark Millar's work, but he's got a good point. Gunn should just say, I'm going to direct this damn thing and just do it himself. Because he clearly wants to.
I think that's what's going to end up happening.
I do too. I don't know why they haven't made a formal announcement of it yet, but they should. Just let him make the
Is he going to be more like, who's the Robert Rodriguez and he works with another director? No, there's
Frank Miller? Robert Rodriguez, he does co-director stuff. That's why he left the DGA in 2005.
Right. So is it going to be like, he's going to bring in some young upcoming director and co-director?
No, you can't do that. Like DGA rules specifically say that one director, unless they enter as a team, like the Coen brothers or the Hughes brothers, you know, like that. Otherwise, you can't have co-directors on a film. So, you know, they should just let Gunn direct it. Gunn should just make himself direct the movie.
Yeah, that's what to say. There's no letting. He's in charge.
Yeah,
he's the boss.
He's the guy, you know.
But okay, but I'm going to ask you that. Would that be looked at weird by the fans? Because he's like a Kevin Feige now.
Well, it's Peter Safran too. I mean, like, who steered the ship for the beginning of Marvel? Jon Favreau, right?
Yeah.
So let him be Favreau.
All
Whatever.
Right.
He's got a voice. He's an auteur, and he seems to be the one guiding all. Well, he is not the team. He is the one guiding all this. Anyway, just make the damn movie. We're like, we can't get 50% pregnant. Let's just do this.
50% pregnant?
You ever heard that phrase before? It's an idiom.
No, I don't think I've ever heard that before.
You can't get half pregnant, right?
I mean, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's just I don't think I've ever heard that expression before.
Oh, must be a Midwest thing.
Possibly. Have you heard it before, John?
No.
Well, it's not an Amish expression, so John is unfamiliar with it. Perhaps ye men can tell us about the churning of the butter.
All right. And then finally, because there is not a lot of news going on.
Getting into letter Kenny stuff here.
So a game just came out. It's The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which is getting panned by a lot of gamers. They're saying it's a terrible game.
It also lives up to its billing.
Yeah. But Kevin Conroy, surprise, surprise, is the voice of Batman in the game. And then apparently that is not his last role as Batman. He is going to be the voice of Batman in the Crisis.
Part 3 of this, right?
Right. So they're going to visit a Batman the Animated series version of Earth, and he will be the voice in that. So
that's appropriate.
Yeah.
So they're but how are they going to do the voice? Like he
recorded it already.
Yeah, he recorded it before he passed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Like,
Has he been working on this that long? Because he's been
It's been a year.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's That's gonna make me sad. I mean, I'm happy he did it. It's gonna make me sad and happy that he's in it. You know.
Right. The rumors were that he was going to be in that upcoming animated series that Bruce Timm is doing.
Bruce Timm shot that down, so they never got a chance to record with him.
Yeah. So. Well, because that would have sucked too, right? Because like, if they did a season with him and then he passed away, like,
wouldn't work.
Right.
They said they weren't going to have him play Batman. He was going to do a voice on the show.
Right. So.
Should have been that universe's version of the Grey Ghost. That would have been fun.
That would have been good. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
For you guys who don't know, that the Grey Ghost is this famous episode of the original Batman the Animated Series, where it turns out Kid Bruce Wayne loved this old TV show. It kind of plays off like the Lone Ranger, but like more like the Green Hornet, like kind of like that. It's voiced by Adam West.
Right.
Great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode.
That's why I said it'd be perfect. So.
I was just explaining to people who might not know.
Oh, everyone knows.
I don't hope so if you listen to this show, but you never know.
Exactly. Something wrong with you if you listen to the show and you don't know that.
Something wrong with you listening to the show.
Well, and if they haven't seen it, there's nothing wrong with them. They can go watch it. We're here to.
Who watches the show knows what they are.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that a lot in a minute. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Oh, boy.
This is so wizard, Annie.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs.
No one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
everybody, you can head on over to SoulWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find Soul Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
That was Dave, actually.
What?
Delivered that line. It was you that delivered that line. It takes a lot of time, you know.
I just realized something. So, all the pictures that he uses in that are screwed up. Like
they're AI generated.
But the thing is, that picture of Joey, he actually took in our hotel room at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, the other two are AI.
No. But if you look, I actually looked at it this week, and that they still distorted that picture, even though it's an actual picture he took. I was there when he took the picture. And yet the phone is like wavy and messed up, like obviously did that on purpose. And it's just, yeah, I think it's making fun of AI. I just realized that.
Could be.
So, all right. So our
Do we have a commercial? Do we have a commercial that plays on anybody else's stuff? Because we advertise for a lot of people, but I mean, are we advertising anywhere?
No.
Yeah, we really should.
No one likes us.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
All right. So I wanted to talk about this this week because something interesting happened on social media.
That's a lie.
On social media?
That's a damnable lie, and you know it.
Interesting?
Another content creator like us.
I know. I call the content creator.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this.
Like us, not us, but
it's
we're like us, but not really
models,
us.
Man.
It's none of the podcasts. It's none of the podcasts in the Geek World All Stars. Okay, so it's none of them.
For plausible deniability, is that what?
No. This person posted on their Facebook a comment where it was like, not a comment, a post where it was like, I see. Here's the thing. I can't remember the exact wording, and the interesting thing is I tried to look it up before the show. So it had the exact wording, and they've taken it down since then.
Okay.
And the comment was, fanboys need to realize that it's no longer about them. So I was kind of like, and all these people were like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I wanted to have an actual conversation, and I was like, well, it's interesting, but what do you mean by fanboy, right? Because we have the popular... the popular thought of it as like the comic book guy from The Simpsons, which is why I used that for the artwork this week, right? Like that's what people think of as a fanboy, right? And I said, but do you mean somebody that gatekeeps? Because we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, someone who gatekeeps a genre, or somebody that like says, "Oh, I hate this because that's not how they did it in the comics." And I said, "Oh, that could be the same person." Or like, what do you mean exactly? And I said, because one of the things I would make, my one counter argument would be is like, you still have to make things for the core fan base, because if you alienate them, then you're going to ruin the property because people will just stop going altogether. And like, all these people started jumping on me like, oh no, you're wrong. You don't have to make things for the core audience and blah, blah. And it was like, okay. And I didn't respond because I wanted to talk about it on the podcast, but like apparently the person deleted the thread. So,
I'm sure their Facebook mentions were ruined after this.
But I'm like, and here's what I was thinking, and this is what I was going to get to before it devolved, was like an idea of not pandering to the fan base and making stuff for yourself. And I think Star Wars franchise is a great example. Like they went off the rails with The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I mean, come on. They brought Palpatine back in the crawl.
But then somehow Palpatine returned, yes.
And they made Luke into a whiny old person. and then the Mandalorian comes along, and then they redeem Luke in the end of the second season. Like, everyone loves that scene, right? That's the return of Luke Skywalker we wanted, not what we got in the Last Jedi, right? So that's something that is kind of pandering to fans or quote unquote fanboys.
I disagree.
And it's better. You disagree? Okay.
I disagree. What you're talking about is successful storytelling versus not successful storytelling. You're putting this notion that what is good storytelling is what's appealing to the core base, when it's just good storytelling in general.
Okay.
Right? Is we have this idea, and it's not just you. This is something is that if something I see this in wrestling a lot too, is that if something doesn't cast as wide a net as possible, there's an argument on two sides of the coin that you're not doing a good enough job trying to bring people in, and at the same time, you're not doing a good enough job trying to satisfy your fan base. When in reality, it's very difficult to do both, and it probably shouldn't. Like, and there's sometimes you need to cast a wide net, and there's other times you want to make the people that are here happy, right? And I don't think that's necessarily exclusive. Like, terms like fan, like woke, like it means you want it to mean in the context of how you're choosing to use it. In reality, it's just a word that doesn't mean anything. It's a catch-all, right? A fanboy can be whatever. It can be whatever you want it to be. It can have whatever connotations you want it to use. Like, words have power, and it all depends on how you choose to use it. Like, when I assume female, and I should not have done that. When this person said that phrase, the fanboys have to realize it's not for them anymore. I think that's a two-edged sword. And I get, like, we talked about, like, these football fans that get mad having to share their hobby, which this is the problem, is that a lot of people get insulated in their hobby and they don't want to share it because this is their special thing. And they don't want people that they don't like or don't respect, or they don't feel respect them sharing in their hobby, when all you're doing is trying to grow the hobby. Now, at the same time, those attempts can either be successful or they can fail, right? When Force Awakens came out, that was very fan servicey, but nobody complained, right? Okay. Almost everybody dug it, but nobody said this is for the fanboys. Nobody said that. It was seen as an attempt to cast a wide net to a new fan base. When it doesn't work, then it's, well, this was just for the fanboys, right? And then that becomes like a rallying cry for something. So it's almost like fanboy becomes like a derogatory term, and it depends on who's delivering the message.
Right. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure all three of us have been called a fanboy at some point in our lives.
No, I've whooped someone's ass. They call me something like that, and they know it.
All right, tough guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, what's Kazan say here, real quick?
I got his words. So Kazan says, "I think original fans fear mass field because of the threat of change to the IP." Now they share. No, I agree with Kazan, because like they fear that it's, again, like we talked about the band thing. It's the exact same thing.
Right. But let's put it another way. I think DCEU versus MCU. The newer movies. The newer MCU movies. Let's leave that out for right now.
Core MCU stuff, yeah.
Core MCU, core DCEU. The MCU works because they are true, and this is actually what I said in my comment. I feel like the MCU worked because it's true to the characters from the comics. It's not a word-for-word translation, and I accept that as a fan, but it's true to the origin of Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. Like,
and their demeanor and their
demeanor and how
that.
they act.
Yep.
The DCEU, you got a dark and broody Superman. That doesn't work. For a fan of Superman, that movie doesn't work. Right?
I think, again, you're just coming down to good storytelling versus bad storytelling. And, like, it depends on how you define fanboy. Like, if you define
but when I said like you have to make things for the fans, I was told I was wrong.
But so here's the thing, though, is like the Marvel works, the MCU worked because it was true to its nature.
Right.
And its nature is universally appealing when done correctly. If DC was true to its nature, the DCEO was true to its nature, it would have worked. Right? But then it becomes what makes the fanboy, right? Your argument is the MCU was done to appeal to its core base. I say yes, it was, but what is appealing to the core base works to the masses. That is what it comes down to. If you are true and you have good storytelling, not only will you make your core fan base happy, but you will reach those other people. Why do you think Godzilla -1 works? Why did everybody go crazy about Godzilla -1? It's a Godzilla movie that was good.
And even if you have bad storytelling, there are still a lot of people that are fans of the Snyder Universe.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that came out of Batman vs Superman and said, "Wow, that was awesome."
Yeah, but you know what? The thing I want to say about the DCEU, two things I want to say about it. They progressively lost money, movie after movie after movie.
Yep.
And two, like, Batman and Superman in a movie together was going to make a crap load of money no matter how good or bad it was.
So let's talk about that. You just said that, like, DCEU progressively got, and this is true, lower box office returns every time out. They were serving the core fan base, right? They were serving not the core DC fan base, but the core DCAU fan base.
Okay, and exactly. And here's something I know John has been in this situation. I've been in this situation, and maybe you've been in this situation. A movie comes out, any comic book related movie.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in your circle goes, "Oh, I heard this movie's out. Is it any good?"
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a fan, like, obviously, if you're a big fan of DC Comics, and you see how bad the movie is because it's not true to the character of Superman and Batman, you go, "No, it's really not that good." They're not going to go see it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why appealing to the fan of the original property works.
But again, like I said before, it's not about necessarily appealing to the fan base. It's about good storytelling. Good storytelling will reach across those planes, right? A good story unites fans and creates new fans, which is what Iron Man was, right? There are very few hardcore Iron Man fans in 2007, right? But that movie comes out and people who know and love Iron Man are like, this is Iron Man. And then a new generation of people discover Iron Man and go, yeah, man, this is awesome, right? So, I mean, it wasn't trying to serve the fanboys. It was staying true to what the characters are. And these characters, let's be real, are pop culture icons. They are designed to appeal to the masses. They were created to be appealing. The Crow was not designed to appeal to the masses, right? The fact that a Crow film is successful goes in spite of what that property is all about. Like, if these movies don't appeal to the masses, it's a failure, which is the problem with the DCEU. Those movies, and again, I don't think they wanted to do that, but that's just what happened, is those fans were the only people that liked them. So you're failing. You're appealing to your base, but you're not doing a good enough job of casting a net, and that's a problem, right? You need to be able to invite people in. If you don't, you become insulated and you're not making good choices. But it comes like the word fanboy is where I take issue with this entire conversation, because we can't define what that means.
Right. Hassan says if a person
Hassan says,
go ahead. No, you got it.
Read it. I got it. If a person states, if you're a fan, then X, the movie isn't good. Yeah, that's a good point. A good movie stands upon its own merits, not the inherited legacy of the source material. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
A good story is a good story.
But isn't that's an issue that I think we've talked about on this show a lot too? Is like when they change a lot of things because they want to insert it into a popular franchise to make money. They reboot it and they change a lot of stuff. They've completely changed the story. Why not just create something new?
Because I think people watch it because of the franchise. Right. There's more value in it. But again, it comes down to storytelling. Whenever that happens, it's a failure.
Right.
At the root level. And that goes beyond either embracing or rejecting said phantom fan base. Right? Because again, I find this to be a very much a straw man argument. Right? Like if you appeal to the people who love something with good storytelling, more people will come in. Godzilla -1 is my example, and I'm going to keep leaning into that.
Even if it's good storytelling for the time, like when the first Batman movie came out, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It seems campy now, but then,
I love it
then again, compared to the original 1960s Batman TV show, it was really dark.
Yeah.
And then again, you rebooted Batman with, what was it, The Dark Knight, or what was the
Batman
first
Begins.
one? Batman Begins, right? And got darker, but people liked it because the writing on that was really good. So, like, even if you're still playing around with the same property and you're changing it a little bit, as long as, going to JD's point, as long as the writing is good and you're hitting at the right time, because sometimes it depends on, when it plays,
right?
Then, then it's still. I mean, this whole thing about fans is like, people should like what they like, I being into anime, it's and also in the dating pool, I have had problems with this, being a 53-year-old man that really likes anime. I have, to bring a little bit of my personal stuff into this, I have been told that I am a man-child, that I am not mature, that I should have told them that before we went on a date. I've had a lot of problems with this, and I try to. What?
John, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. You should thank that person.
Oh yeah,
I
know.
Thank that person for revealing who they are and making sure you don't waste another second of your life thinking about them.
Yeah, because as I am an expert in this, they're kind of gatekeeping. But
gatekeeping something. I'll say that.
Like, who's to tell you what you can like?
Right. No.
Everybody's different. Everybody's going to like something, a whole slew of something. Sometimes in the Venn diagram, you'll overlap with other people.
I got a great analogy here. Have you ever seen A Bronx Tale?
A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, Chaz Palminteri, Robert De Niro, 1993.
No.
Okay, so Bronx Tale is a story about a kid who grows up admiring a mobster, right, in the early 60s, late 50s, 60s. Great movie, just a great movie. And this lesson this guy teaches him is, he has this trick. It's 60s. He's like, you unlock the passenger side door for the girl and open the door for her. You close the door and you walk around the back and you see what she does. If she reaches over to unlock the door to let you in, she is a keeper. She cares about where this goes and she wants you with her. If she sits there and does nothing, quote unquote, she's a selfish bitch and you are better off without her. End quote. And that's the scene in the movie, is he unlocks the door for this girl and she reaches, you see in slow motion, she reaches over and unlocks him. The guy pumps his fist because he knows she's special, right? Fact unto fact. I did this to a girl once. She didn't open the door for me. We never dated. Consequently, she's in her mid-40s and is unmarried to this day. Coincidence? I'll let you draw the conclusion. I did that for my wife, and she not only reached over and unlocked the door, but she actually opened it from the other side. So, I'm a firm believer in this idiom. The point of this little thing is to say people will reveal themselves when given the opportunity. If you're on essentially like a dating app, I'm assuming is where these
a bunch of dating apps, yeah. I've met quite a few women that have had this opinion.
They are bitches who are selfish, who you do not need to talk to because they are rotten human beings. I'm sorry, that's the truth. If you're going to sit there and shit on somebody because of their interests when you're on a dating app and clearly you have trouble meeting people, maybe it's you.
Yeah, but just to go along with this, to dip the toe in the sociological side of things. Like I find it funny when they say things like that because I own a house, I make a 6-figure salary, I am very well off, and they of course they don't know that. All they know is that I like something, and they think they base their entire opinion of me around that, and that goes back to our society. The idea, the calling somebody a fanboy is kind of derogatory in our society.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And
you ever thought of this? Yeah.
My whole thing with that is why that was my original comment response was, what do you mean by a fanboy? Because it is a very derogatory comment, and it's like, are you talking about core fans, or are you talking about gatekeepers and people who are like, oh, you can't change the race of this character, or oh, you can't change this?
That's the problem. That's the problem. The word means whatever the user wants it to mean, and there's There's no definition for it.
But just the two words, fanboy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It is derogatory in our society because they don't call somebody who likes the New York Giants a fanboy. They're a fan or they're a sports enthusiast. But
they get that too. They get
that
too.
Only for the Mets. But
no.
But only for the Mets. But
there's women too that will just shut down a guy because he's super into sports, stuff like that. That's a thing that goes.
But that is way more socially acceptable. Yeah,
it's more so for sure. It's more socially acceptable. But the word fan is short for fanatic anyway, which just saying you're a fan just is immediately a derogatory term because it's like you're nuts. Which, let's be real, we're nuts. So kind of steer into the skid. I think these things are amazing Rorschach tests, right? It tells you what it reveals so much. These statements like these reveal so much about the person saying them more so than they do about anything else.
I have had an interesting thing happen to me twice, and I won't say who these people are, and I'm sure they don't actually. But it's funny. I've had two people that have married into the family. One is no longer in the family. The first and one was like, "Oh yeah, I listen to your podcast and I like all that stuff." And I could tell he was BSing me, right? And I was like, "Oh, I asked him a question about the show and he just couldn't answer it." And it's just like, well, yeah, obviously then you're not listening. And I didn't like say anything. I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Oh, I haven't heard that one yet." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I just dropped it.
Counterpoint: is he BSing or is he just trying to be nice?
He's just
probably going. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, if someone says, "Oh, I listen to your show," I think you could tell if they're not. Just say, "Oh, thanks," and just I don't know, man. I think I would read that as someone just trying to be kind and hospitable, and I think sometimes people misinterpret kindness with phoniness. And I think it's just easier to think, well, that person's being nice in the moment. Right? I gave someone a book recently. I know they're never going to read it. They just took it because they were being nice. And I'm just like, okay, okay. I know I know one day they'll talk to me and they'll say ants and I'll know they read the book. But, until that moment happens, I know they didn't. So,
yeah,
that's okay though. That's okay. Not everybody has to like what you're doing, but people can show interest and appreciation and just be like, oh, I've listened to it before. Oh, and just when they do and when they don't, and that's okay.
And then the other one was at their wedding, they did one of those things where everyone was wearing a superhero T-shirt under a tuxedo, and they opened it up, and before that, when we first met this person, we were at a dinner, and we were talking about, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he said something about because they found out I had the podcast. Oh, I love superheroes, blah blah blah. Oh, okay. And then you're ask a question and they don't know. Do you ever see
that's so gatekeepy, Dave?
I'm not trying to be I'm not
but
trying
that
to
is
be
gatekeepy.
No, I'm trying to have a conversation and they can't.
No, you're quizzing someone.
No, I'm not. I'm not quizzing them.
That's exactly what you just said though. When you have a conversation, you can tell they really aren't superhero fans. Okay, you can have a casual conversation about sports with people, and you could just say, "Oh yeah, I like the Bears." Oh yeah, well, who played running back in 1974?
No, I didn't. I don't ask a question like that. I'd be like,
"What did you say?
Oh, which movie's your favorite?" Because I know they're not reading the comics; they're watching the movies. And
but that's quizzing them.
That's not quizzing them.
That's totally quizzing them. You're testing their geek
if
cred.
Somebody comes up and says, "I'm the biggest San Francisco fan ever, 49ers fan ever," and you ask them who was the quarterback.
I'm not going to ask them a question about it. I'm not trying to test their fandom. I got kids in my fucking classes who make all these collages with superhero stuff on them. I know they don't got my knowledge, but I'm not making any value judgment based upon that. I'm like,
but what I'm saying is, if a person
showing
comes
interest.
No, but the thing is, the person approaches you and they're trying to start a conversation by saying that you're trying to continue the conversation. That's not quizzing them.
No, but you don't have to we don't have to make a value judgment based upon what they know about it. They could just think Peter Parker's mask is cool, and that's fine. We have to start seeing these things as wins for us and not losses. It's not oh, this person's not a real geek, and then we have that so much in our culture. We have to elevate, because we're all nerds, right? So we feel the need to elevate ourselves in this one way above other people, and we get like upset when people try to horn in on our territory, and we can't. We have to just be like, cool. They think we're cool because we like these things. They like the same stuff we like. I'm not, like I said, I like the White Sox. I cannot tell you everything about the team. I cannot talk batting averages. I cannot talk, why a certain hitter is better than other. I just like to watch a game sometimes. And I think that that's okay. I'm not going to pretend to be a huge fan. I don't think these people are either, but I think they're just showing a slight interest. Like, oh, you read superheroes? Oh, okay. I like this too. And we should go, cool. And just leave it at that. And just understand that there's levels to these things and not get not ranked who should rank where on the grand nerd scale. Am I wrong on this?
No. I mean, like the term fanboy usually connotes that the person is way into that stuff. Whereas, like you said, there's levels. Everybody's got levels. I don't
think I'm making myself clear on what my point is. It was like, it wasn't that like I was sitting there. How do I say this? It comes off as, because it's become pop culture, right? Superhero movies have become pop culture, that it comes off more like they feel like they want to fit in, and it's just like,
okay,
I don't care. Just come up and ask me, like, what do I think about the weather? Like, you come up and you're trying to start a conversation.
But isn't that how we share our culture, though? Is to talk about these things, not necessarily like what's wrong with like educating them or saying, hey man, that's awesome. I got this girl I follow on Twitter, right? She's a really good wrestling writer, but she loves the Marvel movies, right? But she's never read a comic book in her life and has no intention on ever reading a comic book. Like, I know way more about superheroes than she does. And she wouldn't argue that fact, but she can wax philosophically on these movies all day long. And I think it's freaking cool. Because she's right, she's appealing to different people and winning people into our culture that might not be there. And maybe someone she talks to someday does go whole hog and start talking about John Byrne's run on the Fantastic Four in 1981 that they never would have known about. Like, I don't foresee these things as negatives. Like, I don't get why we have to draw, like, and this bugs me, is like the Super Bowl is going to happen next week, right? And 8 billion people are going to watch football. And the overwhelming majority of them can't tell you what a play action pass is. Who cares?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? But we have to make it matter. Like, again, it's because we're nerds and we're shunned for this stuff for so long. And over the last decade, it's become cool. And so many of us still want to be like pushed to the side. Hassan says, I think that if someone approaches you knowing you're a fan of superheroes and asks you a question about it, they're trying to win a favor or allow you to engage and start a conversation. Win favor, not a favor.
They may also be really interested in what you think.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they're just talking.
They start the conversation, and then I start talking, and like real quick, they're out. Like, they get bored.
It's quite possible they get bored, or they're intimidated by how much you know, or it just doesn't click with them. But again, there's nothing wrong with people trying to start conversation and be nice. Like, I think that sometimes we're so suspect of people being nice that because we're not used to it, right?
Well,
especially when it comes to these conversations. Like, we keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, I mean, I love you, Dave, but is it possible you're being a little defensive when these conversations happen? Is that? I'm just throwing it out there. And if I'm wrong, tell me to shut the fuck up. But I mean,
I don't know. I mean, because these were years ago, both of them. So I don't know. Maybe I was at the time.
I think sometimes, like, I look back on conversations that I've had in the past with people because I hyper focus on things. It's part of my ADD is I hyper focus.
No.
And so I like to, you may have noticed this. Like, so I look back on social interactions sometimes, and I'm like, maybe it was me. Maybe I'm the problem, and I'll think back on stuff and like, I could have been less of a dickhead about that whole situation. Not been like, well, fuck you, like, because sometimes I come off like that, and I don't mean to.
Sometimes.
Break in the conversation. Break in the conversation. The etymology of the term fanboy.
John, this is why I love you, man. Continue.
In 1973, when a handful of copies of a fanzine were distributed at a Chicago comics convention, the I don't know. It's 1973. It's like the comic convention in 1970. The zine was credited to two fans who took Marvel Comics, the work of Frank Frazetta and other matters, a wee bit too seriously. Alfred Judson and Bill Beasley, and its name was Fanboy. And I think that's where the term comes from, is that original zine. And that was in 73.
That
so
makes
30,
complete
50,
total sense.
what is
51
40
years ago.
50?
Oh, no,
Holy
John.
crap,
51 years ago. The math sucks, but it's real. We're all old.
Yeah, 50 years ago.
But I think that, and it could be, like I said, especially from guys back then who were fighting the good fight when, if you were an adult that read comic books, you were clearly a pariah, right?
Oh, yeah, that was...
Hey,
yeah, you're not anymore.
Stan Lee used to say it all the time, like, the publishers of the comics thought if adults were reading them that they were, like, mentally deficient or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you read some of those things from that era? They probably were.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of those things are written at a second grade level, like, legitimately. Like, it wasn't until Stan Lee started, like, trying to elevate it.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're reading, like, those post-code, like, if you're reading anything post-code from, like, the late 50s, early 60s, like, it's not great. Like, again, it's not until Kirby and Lee start doing their stuff that even older people would even find that remotely appealing.
Yeah.
And then you get into stuff like Sandman, where you start to need like
different.
a PhD.
Yeah, where you need multiple degrees to just kind of follow what Gaiman's talking about.
Anything by Gaiman, you might as well be reading Hamlet, which is good, because that's what you want. You want kids to get interested in it and then climb the mountain of the dictionary.
It's such an American issue, like where normal people in Japan read manga all the time.
Yeah,
like
I know.
we in America have this, and again, it's changing. It's the boomers, man. The problem with just about everything is the baby boomers. It's their whole generation. Like, they read comic books as children, so they assume that people who read them now are
children, right?
Right.
I just watched,
but it's not like that in other generations.
No, and you got to remember, in Japan, manga and animated movies are like very adult stuff, way more gore than they ever allow on American properties, and like they're socially accepted.
I just watched an extended video on Secret Galaxy where they talked about the history of Macross and
oh God, Macross, yeah.
And what's the American
Robotech?
Robotech.
Yeah.
And like that was one of the things is when they were trying to bring it to the United States, they said we're gearing this towards teenagers, not little kids, and they were like, it's not going to work
at the time.
Yeah, so
there's a reason why if you know anything about there was an early animated series called Gatchaman, but in America it was known as G-Force or Battle of the Planets, and
I remember Battle of the Planets, yeah.
Right, so it was about 5 people, bird costumes, the whole 9 yards. But the problem was that when they had fights, they were cutting off heads and splitting people in two and all that. So what happens in America is they cut those parts out and they have somebody animate a robot, 7 Sark 7, who's at the base. And every time they go to see somebody's head cut off, they cut from that straight to the robot going, oh no, what will they do? I mean, the animation was obviously quite different. But so in America, at the time in the 70s, when they tried to bring this stuff over, because it was cheap, they could bring this stuff over, cut it up, and do it for pennies on the dollar. Look at Saban, right? Saban with the Power Rangers. So, they were bringing it over because it was cheap. But eventually it got to the point where
it changed culture. And it's taken a couple generations, but like manga is so much more, like I see it in my classes all the time. Kids read manga. More kids read manga than read comic books. And it's because of stuff like Battle of the Planets and Robotech and Dragon Ball Z. That was all Japanese stuff. And again, different culture. Like violence is different. It's just treated differently in the two cultures. So, but now it's far more socially acceptable. We know tons of adults that watch anime. Not me, but there's tons of adults that watch anime and read. But again, I wouldn't it's just not for me. Like, I'm not saying you must be some kind of an invalid. I was going to use a different word with that voice, but I decided not to. You must be to read that, but we all know that's like ridiculous now. Like, culture is changing, and like a big part of it is anime. Now a big part on the other side is MCU stuff. That's made this stuff socially acceptable, and it's the boomers. Martin Scorsese is going to bitch forever about superhero movies.
Yeah, poor Scorsese.
Right?
But
I mean, they're old. They're out of touch, and that's what old, out of touch people do.
And it's not just the manga too, because most of them have light novels now. You might have a series that has all three: an anime, a manga, and a light novel. But the light novels are introducing, like, if it's well written and well translated, it's introducing kids to more and more vocabulary that they don't normally get if they're not real readers, which is good. You know, you want them to get to a 12th grade level. Have them get a sesquipedalian vocabulary, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's interesting, the whole fanboy conversation, because like, it shouldn't be like, I get the original context of what that person means. If we talk about fanboys in the way that it's framed, we should want this. It's not going to be for those type of fans. The problem is we don't have a definition of what a fanboy is. Some people have steered into the term fanboy and have embraced it, and they have a different perspective of it. But again, it all comes down to what's a fanboy. What does, and this is we don't know. Like,
going
like
to what
woke.
you say. Going to what you said, it's really funny because you say that, and it occurs to me like there's like a really defined demarc between the two, because the people that call themselves fanboys are proud of it, and then there's like almost no middle ground to the other side that calls them fanboys and means it derogatorily. I mean, like as a denigration. It's
right. What do we have middle ground with anymore? There is.
No I know there is no middle ground in America. Well, in America, I mean, this podcast is in America, and there is no middle ground anymore. Everybody's forced to take sides now. Apparently,
everything's tribal. Everything is tribalist.
Oh yeah.
We just don't know what tribe we're in half the time.
It's a real sad state of our society at this point,
because it's so easy for people to it's so much easier for us to put people in these little categories. Like, well, that guy is a this, or this girl is a that, and we just trying to. It's just because our brains need to like think of somebody as something, because then it's easier to dehumanize them that way rather than discuss people as, you know, complex beings. This is a this is a that, you know.
Yeah.
No, exactly, and that's we let's not get into all that because but it's also why sports is popular, because
it's easy to play for a team.
You have your tribe, right? It's even to know your tribe and all that stuff. Yeah.
A lot of the appeal of sports is based in that, not the game. Right?
Right.
Constance's way. Does Scorsese that far off his criticism that superhero films are not quality and lack story? Everyone agrees the last 8 years of MCU have been poor and DCU stinks. No, I disagree. He's not saying Martin Scorsese is not putting parameters on his conversation. In his mind, it's all ass cheeks.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all spectacle. There's no storytelling. That's what he said.
Correct. Yeah. He puts it in the same terms as like Predator from the 1980s. I think it's Christmas superhero films don't depend on good writing to carry the movie, but the iconic nature of the heroes and villains. You know, like the fucking Western?
Right.
Like, again, it's the genre that he grew up with, so he doesn't have commentaries on the Western. I mean, he does crime well. Again, I like most Martin Scorsese
I'm sorry.
films, whatever.
He made these comments, and then he produced the Joker movie. So it was like, you know,
he's made money on that though. He is not invested in that movie, and that movie sucked buck cheeks. So you know, who cares?
Exactly.
And the next movie's going to be a musical?
A Bonnie and Clyde inspired musical, from what the production stills look like. But I mean, we're not going to see it. I'm not going to see it. Doesn't matter. Like, again, it's boomers. I don't care what boomers have to say about anything anymore. I don't, because I'm judgmental too.
Wait, but isn't your father a boomer?
Yeah, I don't care what he has to say about much of anything.
Yeah, my parents are boomers, so.
I love my dad. He's not in touch. By his own admission. At least my dad's smart enough to know that he is out of touch and his opinion doesn't matter. So he is an aging hippie that's standing firm to the ideals that he refused to go to war and fight over.
Well, there you go.
That's a great joke that did not get a good reaction. And I'm everybody. What have you guys done an episode on the Joker movie? I'm surprised you guys still think it's
Well,
we did do an episode on that
Didn't
movie.
like it. None of us
didn't
liked
like it. Yeah,
I was okay with it, I think, but
the core argument was the Joker should be a force of nature, and when you give him an origin story, you take away some of his power because he's not as scary anymore.
The core argument for me was The King of Comedy was a great movie in
Well, that's
I remember that.
It is a remake of Taxi Cab meets King of Comedy, basically. So yeah, Taxi Driver. Sorry.
I also like Martin Scorsese movies. Todd Phillips just did his impression of Martin Scorsese movies.
Yeah. So
King of Comedy was disturbing.
Yes, more disturbing than the Joker, actually.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
This is true.
Because Todd Phillips wanted to be Martin Scorsese and is not actually Martin Scorsese.
No.
I don't know. What else is there? Just like I
don't know. I think we've kicked this horse, and it's like it's too dead for us to beg to stop beating it.
Yeah. My last word on it is everybody should love what they love, and nobody should, you know, as long as it's not eating babies, you should. I think nobody should second guess you for it.
I think the issue isn't everyone should love what they love, because I totally agree with that, and I think a lot of people do. I also think you shouldn't ever criticize a person for what they like. You can criticize things.
Even My Little Pony, Dave?
I disagree. People like eating babies. We need to point out to them that eating babies is wrong. I'm serious. There's like, we can't say, well, you shouldn't criticize something that someone likes. What if you like shitting in your hand and throwing it at people? You find it to be a great release.
I said as long as it isn't eating babies, like, you know.
Right, no, I agree. And I agree with you, John. Like, yeah.
I told you I would stop throwing my shit at people. I'm working on it.
Dave, it's a problem. It's a real problem.
All right. Wait, what's Kasan saying here?
I've got one more. Kasan says,
oh.
Yeah, and I think people who don't understand fandom should be open to experience, like JD playing D&D with John live on the show. I just don't want to do it. I'm not criticizing John for liking D&D. I just don't want to play. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, again, I have no problem with John loving D&D. Like, that's cool that's his thing. Like, I'm not going to drag him to a wrestling tournament.
Anyway, what I was getting at is, we said it earlier about the tribal thing and everyone being separated, and then it's all pointing fingers at with everything. It's like, this sucks and you like it, so you suck, you know? And it's like, no, human beings are complex beings and need to be, you know, dealt with on an individual basis.
They need to be shit on constantly. So maybe you should keep pooping your hands and throwing at people, Dave. I'm wrong.
And maybe John should stop eating babies.
Yeah. With the Amish.
Talk about I mean, like, if you think about it, the Amish are a separate fandom, and you've just put them down for nothing.
They're not listening. If we can't make fun of the Amish, who can we make fun of?
Exactly. All right. We can don't point fingers at anyone but the Amish, because they'll never know.
Build their
you guys.
barns and churn their goddamn butter.
Those damn Amish.
Setting kids on Rumspringa. I wrote a comic once about a bunch of kids that go on Rumspringa and get killed, and I have like a crazed Amish guy, at least Amish farmer that goes seeks vengeance. I was really proud of that story.
If you ever want to see good skits about the Amish, Letterkenny.
I've heard good things about Letterkenny, but I've never watched it.
They are hysterical. Do Letterkenny and Amish.
My brother likes Letterkenny.
Yeah, and just look up Letterkenny and Amish, and you will. And a lot of them are jokes I will not talk about.
Watching an anime. I don't have time. I don't have time to watch the things that I have to watch for my other show or this show, let alone do something that I don't have time for.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Blue-Eyed Samurai. I've heard of Afro Samurai, but Blue-Eyed.
You never heard of Blue-Eyed Samurai, John? That's an anime. It's popular. How do you not know Blue-Eyed Samurai? I know Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Because he's too busy watching One Piece.
That's true.
He's abandoned all other anime.
And trying to keep up with the other stuff.
Isn't it ironic that a show called One Piece has so many episodes?
I know, and I'm taking a break while they go through the next arc. I have to wait another couple of months before I can watch this next arc, and that's going to be another 60 episodes or 80 episodes. So
All right.
Anyway, I think we've done our damage.
Yeah, Kassan has been telling us. That's where I know this show, because Kassan's always talking about it. Thank you, Kassan.
All right, I think that's a good place to put a pin in this conversation.
Blue Eye Samurai. I'm looking it up. Kassan, I'll watch it. Fine.
So,
the hell are we doing next week?
I have no. Well, you're not going to be here next week. What do you care?
Oh, yeah, I'm going for sushi.
We're going to talk about sushi.
Oh, okay.
No.
A whole episode dedicated to sushi.
I was thinking we'd review a movie.
That one. What do you get?
I was thinking we review a movie like Flash Gordon or the Mark of Zorro. Or
I was
Flash Gordon.
I was thinking. I thought it was next week that we're going to have James Burton on the show to talk about Killing Us, but
we could do that too. That would be awesome.
I'm not going to be here. Dave's going to want me to sit there and do stuff. I want to talk to James. Actually, I want to thank him for making me tall. I am forever in his debt for depicting me as tall.
All right. Let's go around the room. Got any recommendations, or what did you learn on the podcast this week? And John, you can go first.
I never get to go first.
All right. Fine.
No. You're the run the show. John goes first. I'm just pointing it out.
Okay.
All right, wait. Next week you can go first, JD. Oh, all right.
Well played, sir.
That was okay. Good. Still enjoying it while I'm taking a break from One Piece for a while to let it get through the next arc, so I don't have to stop and wait a week like a plebe. I'm enjoying a new anime called Seventh Time Loop: The Villainess Enjoys a Carefree Life. So that's pretty cool. They're on episode 5, and so far it hasn't disappointed. Also, I'm going to be watching the Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 animated movie. So you probably want to. That's something that maybe whoever wants to look into it, that's out now on Blu-ray, or they probably have it where you can watch it on one of the streaming services. That's it for me. As far as learning is concerned,
How about you, JD?
We don't learn nothing on this show, man. We just piss into the wind and try not to get it all over our shirt. I have a recommendation. I took my son has been looking forward to seeing the movie Argyle since we saw the trailer at Godzilla.
Oh yeah, have you seen it?
I did. We went and saw it opening night. He loves spies. He's so into he has all these little spy gadget toys, and he loves Mission Impossible, and he sings Tom Cruise's praises all the time. We're gonna have to have a tough conversation when he gets older. It's not gonna go well. But for now, I'm letting it ride because he's 7. But we went and saw Argyle, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's a really fun movie. Until you get to the midpoint twist, and then you should get up and walk out of the theater.
Really?
Because the last half of this movie goes so completely off the rails that my wife and I looked at each other and we said, "What the fuck are we watching?"
Really?
The kid, he says he loved the movie, but he grabbed my Fitbit 5 times to look at the time. And then admitted at one point saying, "I just kept thinking about Minecraft," because he's also super into Minecraft. So
good kid.
Oh yeah, he loves Minecraft, John. You would love hanging out. I'm sure you guys
have an open server if you want to give him a safe place.
He just plays on his Switch, so I don't even know how he would do that.
Can't do that with the Switch. Yeah.
I did not like the last half of this movie. The first half was a lot of fun. I heard that Mark Miller did an uncredited write, because it's a Matthew Vaughn movie, did an uncredited write on the film, and I can see it.
Oh dear.
Because by the 6th plot twist, I was like, I'm out. This is too stupid. I love the concept, but when they abandon the concept and make it something else, I was just like, I should have left the theater. He claims he loves it, but his actions during the movie lead me to believe otherwise.
If you want a good Cloak and Dagger, if you want a good spy movie,
Dagger?
Dagger? Cloak and Dagger, right? Yes. If you want a good Cloak and Dagger movie, Dabney Coleman, Cloak and Dagger from 1984, is a really, really good movie, and it's got a good moral structure to teach kids, and kids would like it because it's the main character is a kid, and it's pretty good.
So real quick, because in the previews it makes it out like this woman's a writer and she's writing stuff that's actually happening and she doesn't realize it's actually happening, and then she gets mixed up in it because they think she knows something.
Okay, we're gonna spoil it, aren't we? Like,
But then, well, I'm not asking to spoil it, but then they abandon that halfway through the movie
because she's not just a writer.
Is she God?
No.
She's in a coma.
So no, that would have all made more sense. So like the real Agent Argyle is her. She's writing about her life. She was a spy who has amnesia.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yes.
Oh.
And then and then we keep getting plot twists and keep getting plot twists and keep getting plot twists. The movie only works because Bryce Dallas Howard is really good in it, and Sam Rockwell is Sam Rockwell. Bryan Cranston makes for a good villain. The performances in this movie were much better than the material. It shoots big,
and there's kittens, and there's a cat, right?
There's a cat. A lot of the cat is CG, but there's a cat. What was that, Dave?
How much is Cavill in it?
Oh, quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Quite a bit. More than I expected him to be in it.
Okay.
So, he's a figment of her imagination.
Well, yeah, I know that much from the previews, but that made me wonder, like, does it make you want to have a Henry Cavill spy movie because you see him in this like that?
There was Mission Impossible 6.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, we got that movie.
When he cocks his arms.
He's fine. Yeah, that was awesome. He's fine. He's not a problem in that movie. Like, none of the actors are a problem. The problem is completely with the writing. Like, and it's like it goes so off the rails to me. Man from U.N.C.L.E., yeah, he's also in the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I was about to
We've
say,
gotten that Cavill spy movies. He's great. Henry Cavill's awesome movie. John Cena's awesome.
I was going to say, because I forgot, that's the movie that made me go, oh, he could be a good Superman. Because he's very charming in that movie.
He's charming in this movie too. He's got a terrible haircut in this movie, but it's part of the gimmick. Like, it's just, it's just too many plot twists. It's just too many. Like, again, I loved the concept, but when they abandon the concept, it loses me, and it's unfortunate. It's filmed great, shot great, but yeah. Oh, hey, John O'Grady comments. I got it, Kassan. I'll check out Blue Eyed Samurai. I know that guy. So yeah, I don't know. Go see Argyle and disagree with me. One of the 13-year-olds in our kids club who told me I'm wrong, and the movie was awesome. So what do I know?
We have ever since M. Night Shyamalan, there's been a lot of movies and stuff that people come out. The writers are always like, oh, what a twist, what a twist, what a twist. Thinking that's equals good writing. So
I have quite a few friends on social media.
It's definitely for adults,
and who have basically said the same thing as you, JD. Like, it just falls apart very quickly. So
yeah, I was shocked at how it continuously falls apart. Like by the time you're really a spy, I was like, I'm out.
All right,
I'm out.
It sounds like it could work, but
it doesn't.
Well,
again,
I mean,
your mileage may vary.
Your
mileage may vary, but for me, it just didn't work. And I like Bryce Dallas Howard. I like Sam Rockwell. I think performances are good. Catherine O'Hara is great. It just I don't know. You can sell me a bridge, but you can't sell me 6.
So again, a better spy movie, Cloak and Dagger, 1984 with Dabney Coleman. That's my recommendation. That's another recommendation.
I'll show it to Andy. See what he thinks.
Yeah, that might work.
I'll report.
All right.
Back.
Well,
sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I learned this week that sometimes I might be the problem, especially when I throw my poo at people.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. We've gone full circle. We've gone back to Taylor Swift. Holy shit!
Oh my god!
We bookended the show.
I can't wait to clip this week's episode, and I hope the AI picks a bunch of Taylor Swift stuff, because then the algorithms will pick it up. And
why do you think everybody else is talking about it?
Dave, here's what you need to do: is you need to go back and retitle the show and hashtag Taylor Swift in it.
I'm going to hashtag her, definitely.
Watch the numbers go through the roof. A bunch of teenage girls will get pissed off when they see the 3 of us.
But you know what those
and they won't be wrong.
No, I didn't say they were wrong.
Do you know what those teenage girls do when they get pissed off? and they shake it off. Shake it off.
He did it again. That wasn't as good of a segue as the last one, but I'll take it. I can't believe we got 2 hours out of this show.
Yeah.
Oh, I can quite easily. I will recommend that if you're watching us after the fact, you didn't see us live, well, click that subscribe button and click that bell for notifications so you can see us when we go live Sunday nights at 8:30. Also, make sure you head over to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page. Comic book reviews by a good friend Chris and so much more. And yeah, I don't have a recommendation. I'm hoping I'll have a recommendation next week because I'm going to start watching the Jack Reacher show, and I hear good things. I'm hoping I'm going to like it. So
spread the word if it's good.
Yes. All right.
Good. I've seen the first season, so. Yeah.
On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.